We're in the age of music biopics now, and we've seen a lot of great music biopics. Michael Jackson's recently released biopic, the Elvis biopic with Austin Butler, the Bohemian Rhapsody biopic, the Ray Charles biopic with Jamie Foxx. We've seen tons of great music biopics for the last 20 plus years. In this video, I'm going to list you 5 artists that I think should be getting a music biopic sooner rather than later. The fact that Jimi Hendrix has yet to have a music biopic despite his impact on both the guitar and in music in general is quite disappointing. There was technically a biopic made about Jimi Hendrix all the way back in 2013, starring Andre 3000, who played Jimmy well, but the estate had a lot of restrictions on it. He was handcuffed. They really couldn't do a whole lot when it came to Jimi Hendrix's story or his music in general. It really wasn't a good biopic to begin with. Now, if there were not handcuffs involved or restrictions from the Hendrix estate, there could be a stuff of legend to be made in regards to a movie, much like Jimi Hendrix himself was. The Monterey Pop Festival having his early beginnings with Little Richard, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, his unfortunate passing, a whole great movie can be made if and only if the estate allows it to be. It shouldn't even be a conversation, honestly. It's Jimi Hendrix, one of music's greatest guitarists of all time, one of the most influential guitarists of all time. He needs an appropriate biopic approved by the estate, something of legend. This needs to happen sometime soon. It's Jimi Hendrix. It shouldn't have taken this long to this point, but we still can have a really good one. The estate, please. We need one badly. When you think of some of the best music labels in music history, Motown surely has to be at the very head of that list, if not one of them. Motown changed the game for everybody. This one is more of a pipe dream, but I'd love to see a movie, a biopic made about Motown, the beginnings of it, all the artists involved, Berry Gordy, Stevie Wonder, The Temptations, The Supremes. I know it's kind of a pipe dream more than reality, but I feel like a Motown biopic would be a huge success. There's been documentaries made about this, surely, but a biopic capturing all the big players like Smokey Robinson, Berry Gordy, and more, having the early beginnings of Berry Gordy essentially being a worker for the car industry and then going into the music industry, I feel like it'd be an awesome story to highlight all the big acts. I know it's probably close to impossible with the estates and the rights and everything in between, but a Motown biopic to me, it'd be sensational. I think Motown's the best label of all time. Seeing the rise from the 60s onwards with Berry Gordy, the Jackson 5 eventually joining as well, the Temptations, the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, seeing all that highlighted on a big silver screen in a big movie biopic form, I'd love it. I know this one's coming sooner rather than later, but an Eminem biopic I cannot wait for. I know we kind of saw something similar with 8 Mile that came out in 2002, but everything post-2002, the loss of proof, his relapse, his recovery, but even going back to the 70s when he was born, Eminem, the entire life story, the story of Marshall Mathers, that to me is going to be a wide-known hit. Probably later rather than sooner, but whenever it does come out, it's going to be a huge success to me. Eminem's story wasn't boring either. He's one of the 10 greatest selling artists in music history, one of the best rappers of all time. Like I said, the relapse, the recovery, his divorces, his beefs that he had with Ja Rule, the rap battles, the loss of proof. His life story can be told in a huge movie, cinematic, biopic kind of form. Probably won't be for a while. I know he's gonna have heavy input in it, as he should, but an Eminem biopic is gonna be fantastic no matter when it comes out. Eminem is going and still going and going strong, frankly. He's only in his early 50s. He still looks good for his age, still doing performances. I hope the people that wrote All Eyes on Me with Tupac do not have any control of this film, because that film, with all due respect to those involved, was awful. We don't need a bad Eminem biopic. We need a really good Eminem biopic to salute one of the best of all time. That, to me, whenever it does come out, absolutely 100%, it's going to be must-see. The Jimi Hendrix and the Motown biopic, to me, are more of a pipe dream. The Eminem one is not even a question. It's more so when rather than if. Probably the saddest and most heartbreaking entry on this entire list, the princess of R&B, Aaliyah, needs a biopic. Aaliyah was making waves in every way possible, both in music and in film. At the age of 22 years old, she died in that brutal plane wreck in the Bahamas, and there's a whole generation of people who don't even know about Aaliyah. There have been some attempts in the past to have an Aaliyah biopic, but much like a Jimi Hendrix biopic, it very much missed its landing. Having a new Aaliyah biopic with no restrictions and no handcuffs on it would be something that I'd love to see. There's a very real world in which Aaliyah could be held in the same regard as to a Beyonce nowadays, where she seemingly has done everything, film, music, you name it. She passed away at the age of 22 years old. Seeing that new generation of fans embrace Aaliyah and seeing her life story could be something that everybody would love to see. I think her biopic is a very big necessity. At some point, it has to be made. Aaliyah's legacy is etched in stone as one of music's greatest eternal young stars due to her young passing at the age of 22 years old, but a biopic opening up new eyes and showing the generation that came after her what she really was about could be all the princess of R&B really needs. It is 2026 and there is still no Prince biopic yet. How? Seeing the Michael Jackson biopic success, seeing the Elvis Presley biopic success, you'd be a fool to think the Prince biopic would not be a massive success just like those two were. Prince and even his estate have been very protective over the years of his music rights and his image. I totally understand that, but a biopic commemorating Prince and his legacy for being probably the most talented artist of all time, not even a question. That needs to happen sooner rather than later. Imagine all the stuff that we get: late 70s Prince, 1984, Purple Rain, the Warner Brothers feud, the Super Bowl halftime performance, his later life. A Prince biopic is a necessity. It's not even like a want, it is a necessity. It's one of the biggest and best artists of all time. Not having a biopic yet in 2026 is crazy to me. It would be very controlled, absolutely. The estate would have all the say-so, absolutely, but still, it's better than nothing at all. If it ultimately fails and eventually we'll get to a newer one, so be it. But a Prince biopic, the most talented artist of all time, in my opinion, and an unbelievable legacy, musicianship off the charts, so many great moments, albums, songs, performances, not even a want, more so a need. I know the estate for Prince has actually warmed up to the idea recently of using his songs and his rights for other projects like Stranger Things. A biopic should absolutely be a no-brainer. A Prince biopic is needed more so than wanted.